What's up, guys? Good morning to everybody. This is Blackwing Opinion. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. This morning, I'm just going through my channel before doing my daily content, and it looks like I have a person who disagrees with me. Um, Tony X5P5Q replied on one of my shorts about, the whole Epstein file hoax and, you know, how it's backfiring on Democrats. So his first response was, "That ain't telling me whatever." Um, Also, too, he asked, "How is it backfiring on Democrats? Please explain." So I'm going to do that today. And the reason I'm going to do that is because, some people were born under a rock. Some people don't read news, don't watch news. Just They just go with propaganda. I don't consider MS Now to be news. It's propaganda. CNN is propaganda. Uh, MSDNC is definitely propaganda. There's no really channel outlets that have like, a base, maybe, moderate point of view that can see both sides. Um, well, there are, but it's just more so radical left nowadays. But anyways, I'm just gonna go over a few videos as the reason why it's backfiring on Democrats. First and foremost, I mean, Stacey Plaskett, the Congresswoman of the Virgin Islands, was actually caught texting Epstein uh, during a case against Michael Cohen, where she was questioning Michael Cohen about President Trump and his dealings and who works under Trump. So we're going to go into it, and then I'm going to break this down.
Plaskett.
Thank you so much to Mr. Raskin, to my former professor in law school, and I want to address the body. I first want to give you all a sense of what was happening that day. Everyone knows at that hearing in February, the entire country was watching. As Michael Cohen decided he was going to finally give up information about what was happening in the Trump world, the Trump enterprise. And at the beginning of that hearing, the ranking member, Jim Jordan, had the disrespect to Elijah Cummings, may he rest in peace and his name be a memory, after not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee hearing down. And I turned to Mr. Jordan and told him to have respect for the chair and to basically shut up.
Now, what we're experiencing here is a classic act of deflection. This is deflection. What she's trying to do is she's trying to take the heat off of herself about texting Jeffrey Epstein, even about having a conversation with a convicted sex offender. She wants to blame Jim Jordan, put blame on him because of this, which has entirely nothing to do with her texting Jeffrey Epstein. This is her opening statement, and this is why she's fumbling terribly, because she can't be honest about it. Now, 9 times out of 10, if she was texting Jeffrey Epstein, that's a point of contact. Now, could these two have been having a conversation before this? I don't know. But I will speculate, and I think, yeah, that's just my personal opinion. I think she's known Epstein for a while. She's probably taken money from Epstein. And it just so happens that one of his islands is in the Virgin Islands. So I find it very ironic that, you know, she would know this type of person without some type of deal or exchange, coming across her hands. Now, of course, she's going into this, soliloquy about Jim Jordan and how he wouldn't shut up. But the real question is, why were you texting Epstein? And what does this have to do with Epstein? It has zero to do with him. Once again, you have a Democrat who's just trying to deflect from the truth because, they're allergic to accountability. They could incite political violence. They could have these mainstream liberal media news outlets put about 95 to 97% of negative media on Donald Trump. without any repercussions. I mean, you see why he sued CBS for doctoring up that Kamala Harris interview, because they know that she's unfit to be a president of this country. And that's not because she's a woman, it's the fact that she's just not good at what she does. Ever think of that? Just like this woman, excuse me, who's not good at what she does because number one, she got caught. And number two, just the psyche of, you know, texting with a convicted sex offender and then claiming that it's your constituent. I mean, come on, people. Like, let's have some common sense. This is why I'm going over this today, because you have to be born under a rock not to even know about this. Now, of course, there's some people that are into politics. I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about the others that decide to deflect, that decide to turn the blind eye to anything negative that comes out about their party. When things come out negatively about my party, you know, I have to own up to it. You know, I don't agree with everything that President Trump is doing, but I'm going to ride with it because he's the person that I voted for and to get the job done. See, there's the thing. People think that you just have to agree with everything a president does, and you don't. As long as he gets the job done. You know, as long as we don't have another Biden regime for 4 years that are just increasing inflation, you know, saying that if we don't vote for him, we're not black, saying all these stupid things and then getting lost in the woods during, you know, a leader forum. Like, come on, man. But not to go on a tangent, I'm just saying that she is not accepting accountability. She's just not. And it shows in her speech.
And that moment went viral. And I began to get innumerable texts from friends, from foes, from constituents about what was happening in that hearing. And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation.
And this is another lie. It was public knowledge he was under federal investigation. In fact, there's an article in the Miami Herald that even talks about it. She's just lying to save her behind because, you know, whoever coached her, you know, for this did not do a good job. And the reason being is because, you know, all it is deflection. Is deflection. You can even look at the woman behind her with the glasses, you know, with her arms folded. She doesn't even believe it. And then the other woman, you know, next to her with the flag as a scarf, you know damn well she doesn't believe her. So this is just a bunch of garbage. You know, she's just trying to defend herself and save face, but it's too late. I mean, because they're the ones that wanted the files out, and now that the files are out, all of a sudden they're just scrambling like McNabb in the pocket trying to find a way or trying to find a pass out of this BS. And it's just not working.
And who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently from someone that I was seeking advice from him. Let me tell you something. I don't need to get advice on how to question anybody from any individual.
Oh, really? Oh, really? So you don't need any advice on how to question an individual, but yet you were texting him, asking him, what questions should I ask? What people should I ask about? Is that not taking advice? I think it is. See, the lies just get worse and worse. Like right now, if I was a Democrat, I would feel really gaslit and pissed off because my eyes and ears see and hear one thing, but you know, Plaskett is saying something totally different. Like it's coming to a point where, you know, you have to ask yourself, do Democrats think that we're stupid? Do they really think we're stupid? I mean, I know one thing, I'm not offended because I'm not a Democrat, but in a way I am offended because the average listener, you know, should feel some type of way about this. Like, it's like you're punching me in the face and you're telling me you're giving me a facial massage or whatever analogy you could come up with, that's it. And or another one is like you're pissing on my leg, but you're telling me it's raining. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. And this is a congresswoman who probably votes on BS legislation, wants it to go through, and you wonder why our country is the way it is, because of people like her. I mean, think about it. You're in bed with a convicted sex offender. I mean, Jesus, like that's the worst thing you could do. But they're trying to use this against Donald Trump, and it seems like it's backfiring. And another thing is that it's never going to be enough. They wanted to try to find Trump, in action doing something, or emails leaked that he did something. But the problem is that Democrats are having egg on their face because all this stuff is backfiring.
I have been a lawyer for 30 years. I have been a narcotics prosecutor in New York City. I have had the honor of being a political appointee at the Justice Department after September 11th.
And again, none of this has to do with, her texting Jeffrey Epstein. For her grandstanding about her accomplishments, I'm this, I'm that, I've done this, I've done that. Okay, well, lady, answer the damn question. Why were you texting Jeffrey Epstein? Why? What was the point of that?
As a Republican appointee in the Bush administration, I know how to question individuals. I know how to seek information. I have sought information from confidential informants, from murderers, from other individuals, because I want the truth, not because I need them to tell me what to say. And if you look at the transcript, you will see that I questioned Michael Cohen for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you questioned Michael Cohen for 5 minutes, but who gave you those questions? See, I just find it so funny that, these Democrats, they could sit on their soapbox and say, I did this, I didn't need help doing that. I know all the answers. This party's the right party, when in actuality, it's the most, left leaning radical party on the face of this planet. I mean, it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, they don't take they only take accountability when they've done something great. They never take accountability when they've done something horrible, and she's not doing that. All she's doing is, she's pretty much doubling down on her lie. And her lie is that, she wasn't, pretty much she didn't need help questioning him. And she's saying that Epstein was a constituent. To me, this is dangerous. I wouldn't want to know anybody that was, cool with a sex offender. Like, I'm not cool with sex offenders. I don't even like that stuff. So for her to just sit there with a bold face and, stand 10 toes down, like, it's ridiculous. And it makes her look utterly stupid.
Washington Post only shows you 30 seconds and takes from it one individual's name that I got from Jeffrey Epstein and didn't know who the individual was, and put that individual with a host of other individuals that I felt the committee should subpoena.
See, this is the thing. Regardless of how, see, and she's doing another deflection. She's like saying, yeah, I texted him, but it was only for 30 seconds. It doesn't matter. Why were you texting him in the first place? See, this is the thing. This just depletes the whole feminist movement. This depletes the whole I am woman, hear me roar movement. This depletes all of that because you're talking with a sex offender. You're texting a sex offender. Oh, I'm strong, I'm independent, but I'm texting a sex offender. Convicted one. Like, oh, women's rights, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm texting a sex offender. Why? Why? I could already tell by the look of her what she stands for. And this is not a shot at women at all. This is just saying that if you're doing this, this denounces everything else that you believe in as a human being. And this is what she's doing. Trying to cover her ass, by saying these egregious things, these lies. These are nothing but lies. And excuse me for cussing this morning. I don't like to cuss, but this just pisses me off. It pisses me off because you have people who comment on my stuff who can't go and do a search and see the lies that she's saying, to see the lies that Jasmine Crockett's saying. She looked terrible the other day. Looked terrible.
They've never been subpoenaed. They've never been questioned. Because at the end of the day, I know that in the Trump administration and with my colleagues over there, it's not about sexual assault. It's not about support of victims. It's about money.
Okay, so now she deflects, and then this is their playbook. Deflect, 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 talk bad about Trump. Deflect, 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 talk bad about Trump. Just like Hakeem the Dream Jeffries, you know, dream shaking questions to a city near you. That's what he does. I am on the forefront, blah, 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 uses his hands to talk all the time. You know, this is what I do. I use my hands to talk. And because of Donald Trump, this is actually happening. Hey, Hakeem, that's a nice tie you got on. Where'd you get it from? You know, I didn't get it from the store that Donald Trump shopped at. Hey, Hakeem, your shoe's untied. My shoe is untied because Donald Trump did this to me, and he's doing this to the American people. That's how he sounds. And that's how she's starting to sound now. She's starting to sound like an idiot. Because all they do is they deflect. They don't even answer the question. They sidestep the question. And then they insert something bad about Trump. This has been their playbook for the past 10 years. Like, even when Joe Biden was in office, he couldn't keep Trump's you-know-what out of his mouth. And I'm keeping it PG this morning because, you know, I'm trying to be better at explaining myself and giving you guys great content. I should not have to cuss or say anything derogatory, but this is what it's going down to, or what it's coming down to. You know, it's just amazing how the Democrats could always never take accountability and always try to flip the script. You know, the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Oh, we don't want political violence, you know, in this country, blah, blah, blah. But I bet those Democrats know who organized the hit. Donald Trump is a fascist. Donald Trump is a racist. Oh, okay. Oh, he's Hitler. First of all, it's so stupid to call him Hitler because, you know, he has a cordial relationship with Netanyahu. And he just did a favor for Netanyahu a few months back as to sending his troops to a certain place and getting the job done. Donald Trump does not hate Jewish people. I mean, you could look at the photos for yourself. You could look at how he's interacted with people. But these people right here, Miss Plaskett, whatever the hell her name is, I don't even care at this point. It's the fact that people are allowing this. You got these three amigos back here just looking at her. You know they don't believe that.
It is about money. I have consistently stood against sexual violence and the exploitation of women and children in previous careers as well as here in this body. We all know that Jeffrey Epstein's actions were absolutely reprehensible. As a constituent, as an individual who gave donations to me, when I learned of the extent of his actions after his investigation, I gave that money to women's organizations in my community. Not back to him, but to women in the community who needed that support.
Really? I gave it to women in my community that needed that support. You know, I'm just going to leave it right here. I've seen enough. And to whatever his name is, to Tony X5PQ, like, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, if you can't research this and, you know, go through, you know, some videos about why she did this or why she said it, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. The sad part is that There's people out here just like you who don't believe everything, and not believe everything, who don't believe the other side. And can't have a balanced opinion. She did this. Like, this is her fault. She has to be accountable for it. And the fact that she claims that she didn't know is a lie. The fact that she claims she, gave the money to women's organizations, I don't know that to be true, but I think she's lying about that too. And, you know, the sad part about this is that the common person is going to let this slide. I'm not letting it slide. That's why I'm doing content on it right now. But let me know what you guys think. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. This is Blackwing Opinion, and I'm out.